Yo guys, what's going on? LuckyRave is back again to give you guys my live stream discussion slash review on Fairy Tale Chapter 168. And I know the chapter technically came out last week. I'm aware of that, but I gotta keep reiterating this at least until the next few weeks. Because ever since I started working, it's been a little tough, tackling these streams on a, early morning basis. And especially on a daily basis. That's kind of why, even as far as content goes, there hasn't really been a lot of discussion videos that have been popping up since August here, right? But luckily, and I just want to announce this right now, within a few weeks' time, I'm going to be back on a mini break from work. So, within that time span, things should be relatively decent as far as content goes. So, at least for the foreseeable future, things should be okay for the most part. Having said that, though, this chapter was crazy. Let's just dive straight into 116, okay? Because this chapter, oh my god, like let's look at 100 Years Quest, okay? And this is something I think should be addressed here. So, Volume 17 came out back in April, right? So, and the newest volume that came out, Volume 18, if I remember correctly, I think that volume goes all the way up until, 162? So, if we're looking at it like that, 162 ends off, yeah, with Earthland Fair showing up. That's really where it is, and then Mia goes "Oh, yo, is that presence? Why does it seem like acnologia?" It's one of those cliffhangers that you get. But given that so far we're 168 chapters in there, and as far as this latest volume goes, volume 19, this would be probably what volume 6, not volume 6, chapter 6. And each chapter of 100, I said each chapter, but each volume of 100 Years Quest primarily covers around 9 volumes. I said 9 volumes, 9 chapters. I'm not saying stuff correctly, obviously. But I also do want to say, anytime you're doing one of these streams, always make sure you keep yourself a jug of water on you, because you never know. You never know how long these streams are going to go for, and you can just get dehydrated quickly. So do make sure you have water on you, especially right now. Actually, I say right now, but the summer is starting to die down. Thank God. But Whew, drank a little too quickly. Whew. I promise, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I just water went down the wrong drain. But that being said, if we're looking at it from that schematics, Volume 18 ends off with Chapter 162. So, given that, with each volume containing 9 chapters, it's very simple. This current volume we're on, Volume 19, will probably end off with Chapter 171. So, this one's about to wrap up here soon. About to. But let's go ahead and just go into 116, because I'm already 4 minutes in. I haven't even gotten to the content of the chapter, so let's go ahead. And the chapter title is called "Great Power Pierces Stone." You got this nice, beautiful cover page shot with Brandish, with a tent, some fire, got some glacier mountains in the background, and of course, got a tent. Beautiful. Anyway, you see what's happening. We continue off from where we left off last week, but I didn't even get a chance to address that. So I already knew, based on the cliffhanger for 167, Lucy was going to be fun. I had a good suspicion about that. Now, the question I think everybody had was, would Hero divert away from Lucy for like a couple chapters and then like cop back to her? Was that going to be a case? And that was something where I wasn't super sure. Like, if I wanted to play a percentage game, my bet would have been like 30-70. Like 30% chance he does switch over, 70% chance he doesn't. Like that was my whole stick. I was like, okay, on a low bar chance, he switches over. But there was like a good 70% chance where I was like, okay, I think we will still focus on Lucy. Like that to me just felt obvious, right? So given that that's kind of where we are, and we're kind of again resuming back to that fight here, where you see Brandish, you know, enlarging her hand, trying to destroy the Lacrima, and she's like, "My magic doesn't work on it," and she's obviously looking at the key of Aquarius, which is stuck within the Lacrima. The Lacrima that is turning the people of Ermina, you know, into dragons, right? Or at least like giving them like dragon-like appearances. Like they're still human technically, but they do have like that dragonized like appearance to them. If that makes any sense. But Brandish goes on to say, "Hey, how did the key get inside anyway?" And she says, "The key fell here, and the lacrima sprouted up under it. There's no way it ended up inside." And then you see Brandish just like getting caught by something, like something catches her attention, and you hear the dum da dum da dum, and it's growing, and she's like, "Yo, wait, the lacrima is growing." So that's how the key. That's how it engulfed the key. And then you see other people of Ermina showing up, catching her attention, and they're like, "Found you. This scoundrel is attacking the water dragon god. Kill her." And she's like, "They used to be human. What a pain. Command T." And she shrinks them. Well, it's less shrinking them and more so just seeing what's going on with the town, right? And they're like, What?" And yeah, basically she shrunk the whole town. And this is a beautiful shot, by the way. And this shot looks amazing. Oh my god. Like, she took the whole town and put it in like the palm of her hand. That that is, and to be fair, I can't say that's impressive because Brandish has showcased that before, like even in the original series. But to see it again, great. Like I love seeing that from Brandish. I really do. Our whole town got shrunk. That's what these citizens say. And Brandish goes on to say, "Behave for a while. Anyway, how can we break this lacrima? It'll probably take Dragon Slayer magic." What a pain. Ugh, it reminded me of that weirdo. And she's obviously thinking back to God Serena, which, speaking of God Serena, I mean, that dude did show up for a period in 100 Years Quest, which was still a huge surprise. I'm like, really? We bringing back God Serena of all characters, but it's cool. It's cool. I'll say that. But then she kind of thinks to herself, "Oh, I have an idea." And that's when we see what happens to Lucy. So Lucy's there. She's about to get eaten by Mercphobia. And this was the shot, right? Like, the big cliffhanger of the last chapter was like, yo, Lucy was getting eaten. It's like the end of her. He's chomping on her. But then, like, as this whole thing goes down, we come to find out this was all Brandish's idea. So she makes Lucy like a giant size, pretty much. Okay, she becomes a giant, and she's like, "What in the world?" And Brandish just said from the sidelines, like, "Hey, use that snake to hit the lacrima." And Lucy's like, "It's a dragon, not a snake." And then she says, "But the power of a dragon might break the lacrima." That's what I'm going to say. That's what Brandish says. I'm pretty sure. But Lucy, yeah, I think that is Brandish because Lucy says this. "I get it." And then you see what happens. Mercphobia is about to do something, but even at this side, I'm no match for Mercphobia. But we have to destroy that Lacrima if we want to put everyone back to normal and save Aquarius. And Brandish witnesses what's about to happen. Lucy grabs on to the tail of the water dragon. This was amazing, okay? You see what happens? So, and then she, in middle of the fight, she switches the star dress. So she goes from the Aquarius star dress to Capricorn. And she says, I can't lose this fight. And this shot, by the way, oh my god. When I read this chapter and I got to this scene, I'm like, that is amazing. That is beautiful. Holy shit. I love this shot, okay? Like Lucy grabbing on to Mercphobia. Like literally using the power of Taurus, okay, through the star dress. Using that. She says, I can't lose this fight. And Taurus form, that's what a Brandish is saying. And she's like, that's it. Use brute force. And she slams Mercphobia against the Lacrima. And the Lacrima shatters. It's dang. Now, there's a pro and a con to this. The pro is that this showcases Lucy's strength. Okay? It continues to showcase of where Lucy has come as a character from the early days of Fairy Tale and seeing just how much she's grown and how much more confidence she has become as a fighter. And when you like really think about it, you look at how Lucy was like early on in the series where she was kind of like a novice, and you see where that's taken her to where we are now with 100 Years Quest. The character growth for Lucy is, in my opinion, amazing. It's beautiful. And people need to stop sleeping on Lucy, okay? That's one thing I want to say. People need to stop sleeping on, like, just how incredible Lucy is as a character. And in my opinion, I don't care what anybody says, she is easily one of the best shonen female heroines of all. Yeah, I mean, you know what? At least of this current generation. She's at least that, okay? Now, when 100 Years Quest ends, like when Fairy Tale itself like does, and what I mean by Fairy Tale, I mean like officially, like when 100 Years Quest is wrapped up, we're gonna all have a better idea of where things are at. But I mean, look, Hero's showing it time and time again that Lucy is one of the best. And here's the thing, Hiro Mashima, as a mangaka, has already proven that. He's done that with Ellie and Rave Master, which I'm currently rereading. And that story is truly slept on. People need to check out that one out. But Ellie, the way he handled her was amazing. Again, seeing what he's done with Lucy, within both the original series and with how we've been taking it so far with 100 Years Quest. Beautiful. And of course, we have to talk about Eden Zero with Rebecca. Okay? Hiro Mashima knows how to write good female characters. And that's a fact. Okay? Say what you want about the fan service. Say what you want about all that stuff. But as far as like character development goes and story progression, as far as like tying things together, Hiro's able to pull it off, okay? Now, sure, some things are handled better than others. Sure. But at the very least, he does find a way to conclude things. You know? At least with the case of Rave Master and Eden Zero. And with Fairy Tale, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, everyone's kind of assuming that 100 Years Quest, when that's done, that could be the full wrap of Fairy Tale, right? And I don't know about that. I don't know specifically if 100 Years Quest will be the full wrap up of Fairy Tale by itself, you know? Like, if there is a part 3, which I could see a part 3, could we go the next generation's route? And I think it depends on how you do it. And I've already made a discussion video regarding this topic about the next generation with like Nasha and, and Grage and like Urza and Jalal's kid because we know they're gonna have offsprings eventually. Like I'm all up for the idea of them, doing a next generation type of story, but there needs to be a purpose and a reason why that's it. Aside from financial reasons, which I totally get. I totally get it from a financial standpoint why you would do that. And again, this isn't confirmed, this is just me speculating here. I would get it from a business standpoint. But from a storytelling standpoint, there needs to be something there that really indicates and really cements why we need, like a next generation type of story, right? Like, let's say there's something in here that doesn't get resolved. Hero could totally bring that back up in like a part three of sorts, right? Like, that's entirely possible. I mean, you got to take this for what it's worth. Like, the 100 Years Quest was only like a brief mention in the original series. Okay, Gildeck only talked about it once, and the fairy tale, like the original manga, ends with Natsu, Lucy, and the crew going on to take on this quest, and that's what we've been on, right? So unless 100 Years Quest ends off with something like that, where there is something else like above the horizon, which that's my big thing, is how could you go above the 100 Years Quest? That's my big thing. But anyway, that's a side tangent that I just went on. But a case in point, I love seeing this. Love seeing the growth that Lucy has gone through, right? Now, the con aspect of this is, we hyped up the five dragon gods being at full strength. And this is how we took down, like, like the water dragon god at full strength. Like, really? That's what we're doing here? But the thing we have to keep in mind about this is that it's not like Lucy's dealt with Mercphobia all on her own. That's the thing everybody needs to keep in mind here. Is that Lucy had to work with Brandish. They both had to tag team together in order to bring down Mercphobia. So again, the con is warranted for this chapter for sure. And that aspect of like, well, yeah, does this kind of devalue Mercphobia? In a way, yes, but in a way, no. Because Lucy only got to the size that she did because of Brandish. And again, it was a team effort, right? It's not like it was 1v1. Lucy takes on Mercphobia. Oh, end all be all, we're done. Like, we took care of, like, a dragon god at full strength. No, it was a team collaborative effort. And the way Hero displayed that here with this chapter proved it. He proved it. Again, was it perfect? That's debatable. It depends on who you talk to. I personally think he was able to pull it off in more ways than one. But continuing on with the chapter, Sir Mercphobia hits the ground. The key is now like out of the Lacrima. The Lacrima like shatters into bits. See what Lucy does. Super confident. Brandish smiles. Mercphobia is back into like his human form. Lucy says Mercphobia, and Brandish is like he turned into a human. And Merc just says like, "Well, what did I?" And by effect, the townspeople are not dragonized anymore. Like you got this fool. God, I'm messing on his name. I'm gonna hold on. Actually, let me go back to episode 2. That's when this guy first showed up, right? Like, Mister No Way. Oh, dude, this dude's funny. I'm gonna go back and look because this one. Yeah, no. I'm really gonna look back on this one because I only know him based on his quotes, not by his name, which is saying so much. Kashima, there we go, yeah. So Kashima's here. He's like, no way. What the? What's going on? Eek. And then, of course, of freaking course, we can't forget. We cannot forget about Caramel. Caramel's back to being in her normal state too. She's not dragonized anymore. And Brandish goes like, "That's one Lacrima down." And Lucy, well, actually, no, that's not Brandish. That's what Lucy's saying. Lucy's like, "That's one Lacrima down, yay!" Like she's like super pepped up and excited. She's like, "Yep, we did it. We're good." And I love Brandish's reaction. She's just like, "Girl, like, you really celebrating right now? Like, we almost got ourselves killed out there." And you know, Mercphobia says, or in this case, Suijin. Like, there's two names. There's Suijin and Mercphobia. I like Suijin better just because it sounds cooler, you know? So Suijin says, I lost myself again. And again, the dark eyes from Brandish goes like, could you get over it? You're being a pain. How are all the townspeople? Is Caramel safe? And then, of course, Kasha was like, looks like we're in one piece. Okay, I know what he actually means, but God damn, it doesn't help that you actually have a serious callback here. Looks like we're in one piece. Though we were tiny for a while there. That's what Caramel said. And of course, Suijin is like super relieved by this. You get the key of Aquarius like just like playing in the water. Lucy says Aquarius, and then you see Brandish, and they're just like giving off like exchanges. So, given that's where the chapter ends off, let me just say this. As an overall chapter rating, like I said, there is a pro and a con to Mercphobia being defeated. Like, what did this chapter actually, like, this whole battle, technically, because I know there's a reaction to this, I know. A lot of people are with it, but there are some that are like, I don't know how I feel about this. But let's actually look at this. So this whole thing technically stemmed from 165, right? So if we're going based on 165, yeah, so 165, like that's when we focus primarily on Lucy. So 165, 166, 167, 168. So looking at it from that aspect, it was 4 chapters. And for 4 chapters, pretty solid. Okay? Now, is it perfect? No, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it is a great moment. No one can take that away from Lucy. Nobody. And like I've been saying throughout this entire stream, it's not like Lucy single handedly dealt with Mercphobia all by herself. She needed assistance from Brandish, and that needs to be said. She needed the help and assistance from Brandish in order to bring down Mercphobia. It was a team effort, okay? Much like how with Acnologia, Natsu didn't 1v1 Acnologia, okay? Now, sure, Agnologia got the final blow. Like he dealt the final blow to Agnologia, but in terms of like the actual fight, Natsu had to work together with Wendy, Gajil, Loxus, Sting, and Rogue, Cobra. Like it had to be those 7 of them against Agnologia. Okay, the 7 of them worked together to bring him down. Natsu just got in the final blow, and that's a similar case here with Lucy. Is that Lucy did deal the final blow to Mercphobia, but it was also thanks to Brandish. And that's it. So looking at it from that aspect, is this a pure perfection chapter? No. But I will say it's an amazing plus chapter. Okay? So it's amazing plus for sure. And where this leaves off with 169 is in a really interesting position because I think this could lead off to a skirmish of sorts between Lucy and Brandish. Kind of see like a rematch. Like, now, of course, I don't think this could be like a battle to the death type of rematch. No, not like that. Like, the two of them have their own special connection to Aquarius, right? Like, that's the thing. So something's gonna come out of this. I do expect some kind of like skirmish to happen between the two of them. And it's gonna be like a more personal stakes for that. Because it's not one that involves the state of the world. Obviously not that. But it is going to say a lot for now again, this isn't gonna break their friendship. Obviously not. But this is gonna lead into a confrontation of like, okay, so who's gonna be the one that keeps Aquarius? Will it be Brandish or Lucy? Now, I obviously do expect it to be Lucy, but where we end off here is interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And I do expect there to be some moment happening between Brandish and Aquarius. Definitely 100%. But what also gets me kind of curious is what will be Brandish's role after this? You know? Because since 100 Years Quest started, we've all known that her entire goal throughout this entire story has been to finding the key of Aquarius. And like right now, like this is the moment. That's where we currently are at with 100 Years Quest. It's like now this moment has finally come to fruition, and you have to wonder. So what becomes of Brandish's character, right? What becomes of you know her bond with Lucy? What kind of conflict is going to arise? And we're in that position, which does have me looking forward to 169 a lot. Now, do I expect 169 to be the full-on focal point from Lucy and Brandish? I think it'll start off that way, but I do expect this. And I'm going to turn off Discord because I have a bad habit of leaving Discord on whenever I'm doing these streams. But needless to say, I do think we're going to start off with Lucy and Brandish talking and maybe get into a fight. But then I also see us like transitioning over to like say Natsu, Wendy, Gray, Urza. Like one of the four other people I think are going to be like transitioned over into. That's what I think is going to happen. And I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait to see with what we get with Fairy Tale 100's Quest Chapter 169. And like I said, volume wise, again, this is volume 19. And we're only a few chapters away from finishing up volume 19. And that is not to say that 100 Years Quest is going to wrap up in volume 20. No, it's not going to be that quickly. If anything, given with where we're currently at, I mean, if I want to lowball it, at most, like how long has each arc of 100 Years Quest been? Like that's the big thing I want to ask myself. So the Water Dragon God arc lasts up until chapter 24, right? And 24 covers all the way up until volume 3. Okay? Then you get the second half of volume 3, which is the Wood Dragon God arc. That goes all the way up until chapter 63. So that is all the way up until volume 7. So that's like 3.5 volumes of content. Then you get to the Moon Dragon God arc, which is from chapter 64 to chapter 90. So 64 to 90. That is from volumes 8 through 10. That's 3 volumes. Okay? Going from there, you get the Great Labyrinth arc. And that's from chapter 91 to 122. And that would be from volume 11 going all the way until the middle of volume 14. So another 3.5 volumes like for an arc. Then from there, you get the Gold Owl arc, which is the last arc that we got for 100 Years Quest. That covers from 123 going all the way up until volume 17. So Do the math there. That's at least, yeah, another 3.5 volumes. At least. Yeah, 3.5 volumes of content. So given that, I mean, see, it really depends because I don't see this being a case where we wrap, because again, looking at it from this angle, 18 already finished up with the chapter 162. So, oh wait, no. Yeah, 162 wrapped up volume 18. Volume 19 is going to wrap up with chapter 171. So if we look at it from that, put another 9 chapters, that'd be what, 180 chapters, right? I don't know about that. Like, if I'm to predict how much longer we have for 100 Years Quest, like volume wise, okay, maybe not volume wise. Let's say chapter wise, right? Because, like I said, 19 would end off with chapter 171. So 20 would end off with chapter 180. Um, at least prediction wise, right? Probability wise. That's what I'm thinking. And going from there, you add another 9 chapters on top of that for volume 21. That would be 189. Then you go another 9 chapters from that. That would be 198. That'd be volume 22. Now, what are the off chances that we end off Hunter's Quest in 20? Not even 22. 32 chapters from now, okay? And I say 32 chapters because, again, this is 168. 32 chapters from now would be the big 200 milestone. Could the series end off within 200 chapters? With the way how Hero likes to pace out his stories, and again, even though he's just the writer of the story, Yuan has been the one behind the art, and Yuan has been doing such a phenomenal job. Okay? Like, since the beginning, he has done incredible with 100 Years Quest. But I do think it's possible that 100 Years Quest could easily wrap up within the next like 32 chapters. I think that's entirely possible. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are. How do you guys feel about 100 Years Quest chapter 168? How do you guys feel about, Lucy's like incredible moment? Did you have any gripes of the chapter? Did you have any favorite parts about the chapter? And aside from the guys, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave. Again, the chapter rating overall is amazing. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more fairy tale content, Hero Mashima content. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Laters.